guys, thanks for tuning into my channel Lorene HD for a new video where we are going to talk about a situation that happened to me personally, maybe happened to you, probably happens to every herpes positive at least once in their lifetime, which is the one where we get intimate with people without telling them of our diagnosis beforehand. While there are many reasons why this can happen, and I can probably firsthand understand every single one of them, unfortunately none of them are good. And I have a video where I explain who you should tell and why that you can check out, but I'm not going to use this time to tell you why you should tell your partner. Instead, I want to share a plan that I have for the situation. Don't freak out, everything's good, we have a plan, it's okay. As part of this plan, there are 3 things that I want to address, which are your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. So there's probably one thought that is constantly on your mind since this event happened, which is, what are the chances that I transmitted it to this person? While there's no consistent, scientifically proven percentage that will quantify that risk for you, there are things that increase or decrease the chances of transmission. The first one being if you were having an outbreak at the time of the sexual interaction. So a useful thing to know is that the virus is at its most contagious when we are experiencing outbreaks. So even if you were using a condom but the sore was sitting in an area that was not covered by the condom, then there are pretty strong chances that you have exposed this person to the virus. Now, whether they will contract it or even just have symptoms is a different question for a different video. The second one is if you are using a condom, and by that I don't mean that when you do use a condom you're 100% guaranteed not to transmit it to a sexual partner, because to my earlier point, in the case of herpes, condoms are only helpful when they protect the lesion or the sore that you are having because of an outbreak, and it acts like a barrier basically between the sore and other skin areas, primarily in the genitalia and the mouth. And lastly, it can depend on your gender and the gender of the person you are having sexual interaction with. The Herpes Handbook, which I have linked below, says that there are more chances to transmit it from male genitalia to female genitalia. I think it was about 10% rather than the opposite. From female genitalia to male genitalia, I think it's like 4%. But anyways, despite spending a few minutes on the question, I am now telling you that the question doesn't really matter, because regardless of whether the chances are high or low, the point is you shouldn't be taking chances by yourself in the bedroom. So if you have, which like I said in the beginning of the video, happens to a lot of herpes positives, and that doesn't make it okay, but it just makes it very common. There are things that you're feeling which might precisely be what's getting in the way of you doing the right thing. Feelings like, oh my god, I can't believe I did this, I am mortified, I'm gonna break things off with this person, I want to kill myself. So you need to push those guilt feelings aside for a second, because they're not going to help you gather all the strength and all the courage that you need in order to, tell the full story to whoever you got intimate with without disclosing it to them. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody. So stop feeling bad for the mistakes that you have made, because it's just not going to help doing anything. And start feeling good about the fact that you have decided not to make that mistake again. And this is probably the last time that you will feel this way towards a person, because you are committed to make things better for the future people that you're going to sleep with. You know what they say, sooner is better than later, but later... Fuck. And you know what they say, sooner is better than later, but never is... You know what they say, sooner is better than later, but later is always better than never. De-escalation. Whatever, everybody has herpes, it's not a big deal. Yep, you're right about that, which is why if it's not a big deal, it shouldn't be a big deal to give away that information. Just walk your talk. If you truly believe there's nothing special about having herpes, then own your status with whom it matters the most, when it matters the most. Making excuses. Well, we had sex already and they're fine, so what does it matter now? Alright, that's straight up bullshit. As you may or may not know, herpes is also transmittable outside of the times that you're having an outbreak, which is why every single time counts, because every single time that there is skin contact represents a risk. Just because you've had sex with a person who hasn't exhibited symptoms doesn't mean that they are immune to it, because their body should have by now supposedly exhibited symptoms. That is a bogus rationale that isn't doing any good to anyone. Procrastination. Now, I'm gonna tell them, like, I know I will. I just haven't found the right time or the right way quite yet. So I think the concern here behind the reason why you're postponing the moment of your disclosure is probably because you're afraid of getting rejected, which is totally normal. Getting rejected is never a piece of cake. I have made a video about that, you can check it out. Very honestly, and maybe it's a bit harsh, herpes is not a big deal, but not telling your partner that you have herpes is. And the longer you wait, the bigger the deal. So now that we are feeling pumped about telling, well, probably not pumped. So now that we are feeling confident that disclosing is really the only choice that we should be giving to ourselves, how on earth do you deal with it? So I think there are 3 things that you should keep in mind when you're going to tell your sexual partner that there's a piece of information that you have withheld from them. The first one is very simple, but be honest. Like, open up about the reasons why you haven't shared that information before being intimate with them. Like, if you were scared of being rejected, say it. If you were scared of being judged, say it. If you had a traumatic experience in the past, say it. If they said something that made you feel insecure in that regard, say it. The second thing to keep in mind is that you have to respect their reaction. They have the right to be angry. They have the right to not want to talk to you for a while. They have the right to not want to ever see you again. You know, let's be completely frank here. It's not a good feeling to learn that someone hasn't been completely honest with you, and probably at your expenses. This moment isn't about you, it's about them. So you need to be prepared to take a little step back if they need you to, but don't mix everything up. Like, their reaction is more likely to be driven by the fact that you withheld that information rather than the fact that you actually have herpes itself. And the last thing that I would advise you to do is to tell them what you've learned from this experience. Basically, this is the moment where you reveal why, out of all the times that you could have, why are you bringing it up now? Why did you decide to come out of silence? What is the big life lesson that you have learned from keeping this information to yourself? When it happened to me, I knew that in my definition of relationship, the very foundational layer was trust. And I wasn't trustworthy until I was able to be transparent with them and with myself. And I just knew that that wasn't the way that I wanted to live a relationship. So it's not because you have acted irresponsibly that you are overall an irresponsible person. Like, smart people say dumb things sometimes, and grown-ups act like big babies sometimes. And yes, you have missed an opportunity to act responsibly, but there is much more to you than that mistake. And a few closing remarks before wrapping this up. If anyone is watching this video from the other end of the spectrum, where a herpes positive has gotten intimate with you without disclosing their status beforehand, I have a tip for you too. So although this herpes positive bae of yours knew of their status and the onus was on them to act accordingly, the responsibility to bring up sexual health in a conversation before having sex is actually on anyone who cares about their own sexual health. So next time things are about to get spicy with a new bae of yours, make sure you bring up sexual health to reduce the chances of being surprised later on. If you think this video was helpful, please leave a thumbs up, and if you have any tips or questions or comments, leave them in the comments below, or if you want to share them just with me, hit me up on Instagram at LoreenHD or on the Holler section of my blog, also linked below. That's it, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.